Hi, welcome to PYT. In today's video, we are going to see the difference between the Microsoft Azure Active Directory interface and the Microsoft Entra ID interface. So, first let me go into the browser, and right now I have been logged into the Azure Active Directory. So this is the interface of the Azure Active Directory. And once I logged into the Azure Active Directory, here there is a message showing as Azure Active Directory is becoming the Microsoft Entra ID. Yes, as we discussed in our previous video, from October 1st, the Azure Active Directory is going to renamed as the Microsoft Entra ID. And right now, this is the Azure Active Directory homepage, the interface of the Azure Active Directory. And when we look into the interface of Microsoft Entra ID, there is a difference. Okay, so from October 1st, the Azure Active Directory is going to be named as the Microsoft Entra ID. And for managing the resources, we need to log into the Microsoft Entra Admin Center. So this is the homepage of the Microsoft Entra Admin Center, and from here we are going to manage the Active Directory resources. So this is the current Active Directory interface, and this is the upcoming one, Microsoft Entra ID interface. So first let's look into the Azure Active Directory interface. So once we logged into the Azure Active Directory, which we are using right now, so on the left side, if you click on the overview, you can view the settings of your organization, the basic information like the name of the organization, the number of users, groups, applications, the primary domain of your organization, then the license of your organization, whether the Azure Active Directory, the Azure AD Connect is enabled or not, and the other things. Even the secure identity score also you can view from the overview. Then next you have the features like the uh, preview features, diagnose and solve problems, and then you have two main sections. In the Azure Active Directory interface, you have two main sections. One is the manage section and the other is the monitoring section. So from the manage section, you can completely manage all the users, groups, resources, the admin roles, and even the devices, the app registrations, identity governance, licenses, and the Azure AD Connect, even the MDM access can also be managed from here. So as I said, in the Azure Active Directory, we have two main sections. One is the manage section and the other is the monitoring section. So under the manage section, we can manage all the resources like the users, the groups, the identities, even the roles and roles, then the privilege identity management, the identity governance, licenses, Azure AD Connect, and the mobility can also be managed from here. When it comes to the monitoring section, you can view all the logs like the audit logs, the sign in logs, and the log analytics. Everything can be viewed under the monitoring section. So this is the interface of current Azure Active Directory. Now let's look into the interface of Microsoft Entra Admin, which is going to replace the Azure Active Directory from October 1. So let me log into the uh, Microsoft Entra Admin Center. So for going into the Microsoft Entra Admin Center, you need to browse entra.microsoft.com. So once we are into the Microsoft Entra Admin Center, then this is the interface. So on the right side, you can see a message called Azure Active Directory is becoming the Microsoft Entra ID. And then the Microsoft Entra Admin Center, if you want to manage the Azure AD, you can just go to Microsoft Entra ID, because the Azure AD is going to be called as the Microsoft Entra ID. If I open this Microsoft Entra ID, then it will be going into the overview. So this is the overview section in Microsoft Azure Active Directory, which we are using right now. So the under the overview, we can see the basic information of organization in the Azure Active Directory. In the same way, if we go into the Azure Microsoft Entra ID, then you can view the overview. And the same overview, let me close this window. So this is the admin page, right? This is the admin center of the Microsoft Entra. So for viewing the same overview, you can just go into the identity and you can just click on overview. Then you can view the basic information of the organization. So, as we discussed on the Microsoft Azure Active Directory homepage interface, so as I said earlier, we have two sections. One is the manage section and the other is the monitoring section. But when it comes to the Microsoft Entra ID, everything has been differentiated. Like, see, first we have the home, then the favorites. Favorites is nothing but if you want to add any of these sections into your favorite, you can just add them. So for example, let me add these authentication methods. So, and if I click on the favorites, then the authentication methods will be pop up. So like this is the favorite section, and we have the identity section, then the protection, identity governance, verifiable credentials, permission management, and the last is the global secure access preview. So first let's look into the identity section. If I click on the identity section, like we can view the overview of the organization, the basic information, then we can manage the users, groups, devices, application, and you can also manage the identity governance. The privilege, identity, and management will also be coming under the identity governance. Then you can also view the authentication methods, the protection, and the password reset policies also. So this will be coming under the identity. But when it comes to the current one, the Azure Active Directory, these all are there under the use or manage itself. Under the manage itself, we have the users, groups, and then the devices, and also the password reset options also. But these all are there under the identity in our new upcoming Microsoft Entra ID. And then if you click on the protection, then under the protection you can view the authentication methods as well as the password reset. If I click on show more, then you can view the security center also, the security center. Even the identity secure score can also be viewed from the protection. So from the protection, you can just manage the conditional access, the identity protection, and also the identity secure score can be visible from here under the protection. So under the protection, we have the options like the security center, identity secure score, multi-factor authentication, authentication methods, and the password reset. If you click on the security center, then you can manage everything except the password reset. So right now, let me click on the security center. Then see here, I can manage the authentication methods, which is over here. Even the multi-factor authentication can also be managed, and the certification authorities can also be managed from here. You can also even view the reports related to the risky users, and the risky sign-in reports can also be visible from the protection. And when it comes to the identity governance, under the identity governance, you can manage the complete identity governance related resources like the privileged identity management and the access reviews. So if there are any access reviews pending which we need to approve, the admin need to approve, then you can view it over here. And also like the dashboard, we have the dashboard over here, so we can completely manage the identity governance dashboard from here. So if we scroll down, we can see that like the identity landscape, the number of users right now is the 46, and the number of guest users, the privileged roles and the groups and teams, applications, then the applications with the app roles, everything can be managed from identity governance. But in the current one, in the current Azure Active Directory, the identity governance is there under the manage section itself. But in the manage section itself, but in the upcoming Microsoft Entra ID, it has been given as a separate section like the identity governance. Okay, and next we have the verifiable credentials. The verifiable credentials is the decentralized identity. So here in the Microsoft Entra ID, the verified credentials has been given over here, but when it comes to the Azure Active Directory, it is directly there in the Azure homepage itself. In the Azure homepage only, we will be calling it as the Microsoft Azure Active Directory verified ID. Okay, but in the Microsoft Entra ID, it has been updated as the verifiable credentials. And then next we have the permission management. So we can completely view the permission management like the applications, or if not the any resources which are accessible over the cloud, you can completely view the permission management. And this permission management is based upon the zero trust. Completely the Microsoft has brought this permission management based upon the zero trust. And then next we have the global secure access. So if you want to view this global secure access, you need to have the P1 license. For enabling this global secure preview. So this global secure preview is nothing but it's completely includes the internet access and the private access. So once it has been enabled, then you can view the dashboard and the devices and also the applications for which all you have enabled this global secure access. So this is what the complete view interface, the interface of the upcoming Microsoft Entra Admin Center. So we have seen the difference between the Azure Active Directory interface and the Microsoft Entra ID interface. Thank you for watching this video, and for more videos please do subscribe our channel PYT.